Hello everyone, welcome back to Kalam IAS Academy. Just now GS paper 2 of UPSC Mains has been conducted and we will be seeing the trend analysis for polity section, governance section as well as the social justice part. So near about like 15-16 questions it has already covered. Okay, so let's see. And when we are talking about the polity section as well as the governance and social justice section, then it was more on the expected lines. ऐसा कोई भी बहुत ही ज़्यादा अनएक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चंस नहीं पूछा गया था, राइट. सो आई डोंट थिंक कि बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम हुआ होगा स्टूडेंट्स को. एंड ऑब्वियसली इन एग्जाम प्रेशर हैंडलिंग इवन सिंपल क्वेश्चन इज वेरी टफ, राइट. सो ऑन दैट मैटर पेपर इज ऑलवेज टफ. ठीक है, ऊपर से 4000 वर्ड्स 4 to 4500 words students had to write. So obviously that is not a easy task. 7 minutes के अंदर एक क्वेश्चन लिखना रहता है, 10 मार्कर, एंड 11 minutes के अंदर 11 मार्कर. So obviously paper is tough regarding that. But if you see the questions, the quality of questions or the toughness of the questions, then it is moderate one, it can be doable, right. And except the governance portion, ठीक है, the governance portion was much tougher last year, but this year that is on the easier side. But the social justice part and the polity section, it is more or less at the same level which was there in the 2022. ठीक है, so all of you must be familiar with the syllabus of this. This is the polity syllabus. If you are new to this preparation, please you can take a screenshot or you can go through this, right. If you see the trend in the polity section, then near about 125 marks question used to be asked. In 2021 125 marks question was there, in 2022 125 marks question was there, but this time the UPSC has asked 135 marks question and total 11 questions has been asked. So 11 questions, of which 6 questions are 10 marker in the polity section and 5 questions are 15 marker. So altogether this is 135 marks question in the polity section itself. And obviously polity section is a bigger section in the GS paper 2, the largest section in the GS paper 2. So you can see that the increasing trend of polity section. 4 or 5 years back it was only 90 marks, 100 marks, but right now it is up to 125 marks to 135 marks out of 250 marks. So 50% weightage is definitely there for the polity section, right. These are the questions which has been asked this year, and if you look at the keywords, the rate, all those keywords has been highlighted in the rate. So you will not find anything abnormal, right. All these keywords you must have gone through while your preparation, while you were doing the foundation course, or while you are reading the current affairs, or you are writing any test series. So all these keywords do appear frequently, okay. For example, the judicial independence. The judicial independence question was asked, means how judicial constitution itself is providing the judicial independence. We will be discussing this question in very detail in this lecture only. Second question was regarding the free legal aid. Everyone knows Article 39A, it covers the free legal aid, and there is NALSA Act for that, right. Legal Service Authority Act in 1987. So regarding that this question was there. So that is also doable. Then urban local bodies, the empowerment and the functions of the urban local bodies, this is directly written in the syllabus of the question. This is always expected, right. Then comparative politics is there in the syllabus, and British and Indian comparative politics in regard to parliamentary sovereignty. This was also on the expected lines, and I hope that students must have written good points in this. We will be discussing all the questions in very detail soon. The detailed video will be coming soon. This is the trend analysis part, okay. Then discuss the role of the presiding officer of the state legislature. So recently it was in the news, the presiding officer of the state legislature as well as the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha, okay, the speaker of the Lok Sabha, both was in the news. That's why this question, right. Then the Competition Commission of India, recently it has given some order regarding that. The question has been asked, it is also on the expected lines, but again this may be tough question in the exam pressure. If you do not know the exact what has been the decision taken, then that will be very tough in the exam point of time. Then the constitution is a living document. Everyone knows that constitution can be amended, right, under article 368 of the constitution, and that's why it is telling to do, means constitution is of India is a living document with capability of enormous dynamism. It is a constitution made for progressive society, illustrate with a special reference to expanding horizons of the right to life and personal liberty. So article 21 has been expanded humongously after the 1978 case, right, Menka Gandhi case. So that is being told. Explain the constitutional perspective of the gender justice with the help of relevant constitutional provision and law. So how gender justice is being instituted by the constitution itself, as well as what are the different constitutional law which that all both need to be written here. This can also be handled, right. There are several articles regarding to the gender justice. Then account for the legal and other factors. Article 356, plus the question regarding to precedent rules coming up again and again. So this is one of the favorite topic of the UPSC, right, and it always remains in the news because every year at least 2-3 states are there which is where article 256 is implemented, right. More than 115 times article 356 has been implemented in the Constitution of India, right, in the implementation part till now. Therefore, this is always in the news. Then explain the significance of 101st Constitutional Amendment Act. This has already been asked before also, like when the GST was implemented at that year. So once again this question is coming up, to what extent does it reflects the accommodation spirit of the federalism. So how does the GST implementation is affecting the federalism, that need to be answered. And the parliamentary questions regarding parliamentary committee. So all these questions, the keywords in these questions are frequently repeated in the newspaper as well as various test series, as well as whenever you read whenever you are preparing for the GS paper 2. So I don't think there should be much difficulty. Once again, question looks simple, but when you are going to write answers, then brainstorming such answers and generating 4, 5, 6 points for each aspect of the question is all really tough, right. We are just talking that whether questions can be handled or not. बहुत बार तो ऐसा होता है ना कि क्वेश्चन समझ ही नहीं आया यूपीएससी में, ऐसे क्वेश्चंस भी आते हैं. सो इस टाइप का क्वेश्चन नहीं था कि यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है, इस टाइप का क्वेश्चन पॉलिटी सेक्शन में इस बार नहीं था, राइट. सो very much it can be done. Then the governance part, when we are coming, so these are the syllabus. You must be knowing that these are the part of syllabus which covers the governance part. And when you see the trends in the governance part, then you can see that near about 35 to 45 marks question has been there from the governance topic. Okay, like 2020 it was 45. Then 2021 it was 45, and 2022 it is 35, and in 2022-2023 continuing the trend in the governance part, it is 35 marks, right. Then the level of question in the governance part in 2022, the governance part was a bit tougher, but this time it is like moderate one, okay. Like PM Gati question was there, development process question was there in 2022. So in exam pressure plus PM Gati Shakti was the GS paper 3 syllabus part. Okay, so it was asked in the GS paper 2, so students were puzzled what to answer in that, but there is no such question in this year that can puzzle the students. Okay, so for example, the crucial aspect of the development process has been inadequate attention paid to the human rights development in India, suggest measures that can address the inadequacy. So this is very generic in answer, but obviously you will have to write a specific point, data, facts, examples, committee recommendations, everything will be coming up. Then e-governance is throughout the year, e-governance topic is in the hot news, and this is one of the easiest topic, okay, which every student prepare. एक बार e-governance prepare कर लो, बार बार कोई भी क्वेश्चन उसे आता है तो नियर अबाउट वो हैंडल हो जाता है. ठीक है, तो e-governance is a critical tool of governance, has assured the effectiveness, transparency and accountability in the governance very much on the expected lines. And discuss the contribution of the civil society groups for women effective and the meaningful participation and representation in the state legislature in India. So this question is a bit specific and this will need more brainstorming. We will be discussing it in more detail in later classes, right? So overall governance portion can also be is also doable. 35 marks question was there from this section. Then the third section, that is social justice. These are the syllabus for the social justice. Once again, if you are new to this, please see that these are the section of the social justice part. These are the syllabus in your notification which covers the social justice part. And when you see the social justice trend, then the social justice trend, it was near about 30, 35, 40 marks question has been asked since last 3-4 years. Like in 2020 there was 40 marks question, in 2021 35 marks question, 2022 it was 40 marks question, and this time only 2 questions has been asked specifically from this section. Okay, there are few questions like the Competition and Commission of India which you can think that it may be put into the social justice part, but as the Competition Commission of India is a statutory body, so it should be put in the polity section part. So if you avoid such intersection of one question into different syllabus aspect, right, then you can specifically say that from this section only 2 questions has been asked and that is of 30 marks. Means 15 marker, 15 marker has been asked. And when you look at the question, okay, the development and the welfare schemes for the vulnerable by its nature are discriminatory in the approach. So development and welfare scheme for the vulnerable sections is directly written in the syllabus and it is verbatim, it has been asked from the syllabus itself. Obviously every students prepare each and every keywords of the syllabus, so this would not be much tough. Then the skill development programs have succeeded in increasing human resource supply to various sectors. In the context of this statement, analyze the linkages between education, skill and employment. So how this skill development programs, how there is linkages between education, skill and employment, that you need to establish through some brainstorming. You can definitely create like 10-12 points in this aspect also. ठीक है, तो क्वेश्चन वाज नॉट दैट टफ, दैट कैन बी सेट, बट अगेन एग्जाम प्रेशर में सारे क्वेश्चंस टफ ही लगते हैं और एक एक क्वेश्चन को हैंडल करना प्लस उसमें इनफ पॉइंट क्रिएट करना, देन उसमें डाटा फैक्ट एग्जाम्पल सब कुछ डालना, ये सब ऑब्वियसली टफ है एग्जाम प्रेशर में. 3 घंटे का वो जो एग्जाम प्रेशर होता है, राइट. सो दैट इज देयर, बट इन जनरल इफ यू सी देन जीएस पेपर 2 देयर इज नो सच बॉन्सर which has come up, जो कि समझ ही नहीं आ रहा और जिसको समझने में 2-3 मिनट 4 मिनट लग जा, ऐसा कोई बॉन्सर नहीं था फ्रॉम पॉलिटी टू गवर्नेंस टू सोशल जस्टिस पार्ट. सो दैट इज गुड फॉर द एस्पिरेंट्स एस्पेक्ट. ठीक है, क्योंकि वहां पे अगर बॉन्सर आ जाता है तो फिर आपके कंट्रोल में चीजें बहुत कम रहती है, राइट. ठीक है, सो दिस वाज दिस. ट्रेंड एनालिसिस ऑफ दिस ईयर 2023, ठीक है। एंड if you want to compare these questions, the level of the question with 2022, then these are the list of questions which has been asked for the polity section. You can take the screenshot and you can compare with the 2023 part, right? And I would say that the level of question is near about same for the polity section in 2022 as well as in 2023. So that is there. Then in the governance part, obviously if you see these questions, the Gati Shakti Yojana, then these questions, donor agencies questions, this was relatively tougher last year, but this time the questions has been more or less direct in nature, and those questions has been there which generally appear in the test series directly or indirectly, right? So most comfortably aspirants are more comfortable here, ठीक है। तो ये चीजें थी। देन सोशल जस्टिस पार्ट, दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन व्हिच वाज आस्क्ड लास्ट ईयर। लास्ट ईयर 2 एक्ट्स ही पूछ लिया था इन्होंने, एंड इस बार ऐसा कोई एक्ट नहीं आया है, राइट। रिलेटिवली इजियर क्वेश्चन यू कैन से इट हैज कम, ठीक है। तो व्हाट आर द टेक अवेज if you are approaching for the mains 2024, then what should you do, right? Then the very first thing you must be seeing from the question that मैक्सिमम चीज जो पूछा जाता है ना वो करंट अफेयर्स के न्यूज से पूछा जाता है, करंट अफेयर्स से पूछा जा रहा है। और ये करंट अफेयर्स जरूरी नहीं है कि ये 3-4 महीने का करंट अफेयर्स ही हो, 3-4 महीने के करंट अफेयर्स से नहीं, बट 1 साल 1.5 साल जितना भी आप एग्जाम प्रोसेस में होते हो ना, एग्जाम प्रोसेस में नियर अबाउट यूपीएससी जो 1-1.5 साल का तो एग्जाम प्रोसेस होता ही होता है। तो इनके बीच में जो करंट अफेयर्स होता है ना, जो भी इश्यूज जनरेट होते हैं, तो वो सब कहीं से भी इमर्ज हो जाता है regarding your UPSC syllabus. So what you have to do, you have to prepare all the keywords of the syllabus, prepare it thoroughly, like both the static part plus newspaper is very relevant, ठीक है। न्यूज़पेपर का यूज आप करो, उसमें से कुछ एडिटोरियल्स वगैरह आते हैं, बहुत सारे अच्छे डिस्कशंस आते हैं, सो यू कैन टेक अप दैट डिस्कशन, मेक सम नोट्स ओवर देयर, प्लस 1 मंथली मैगजीन इज वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड, ठीक है। उस मंथली मैगजीन्स में इश्यूज कवर होता है और लगभग सेम ही इश्यूज आता है, घुमा फिरा क्वेश्चन का वर्डिंग डिफरेंट हो सकता है, द कंटेंट विच यू हैव टू राइट विल बी सेम, राइट। सो दैट इज देयर, प्लस special focus should be there so that you will be able to collect the facts, data, committee commission recommendation. You have to remember some of the constitution article because directly constitution का reference पूछ रहा है, ठीक है। What has been the gender justice में constitution कैसे help कर रही है, right? Judicial independence में constitution के अंदर क्या क्या provisions है, तो constitution का articles यहाँ पे आपको याद करना पड़ेगा। प्रीलिम्स के अंदर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का आर्टिकल याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बट while writing good answer in the mains you will have to remember some of the constitutional articles, else your answer will be very generic in nature, और generic nature लिखोगे आंसर तो फिर you will not be getting good marks, right? So that is there, and most important most crucial thing is answer writing practice। देखो क्वेश्चंस चाहे कितना भी आसान दिखे, लेकिन उस क्वेश्चन को लिखना 7 मिनट के अंदर 150 वर्ड्स लिखना एंड 11 मिनट्स के अंदर 250 वर्ड्स लिखना एंड ऑल टुगेदर 3 आवर्स के मींस कंप्लीट करना पेपर इज रिक्वायर्ड स्किल सेट, एंड इफ यू आर लैकिंग दैट स्किल सेट देन यू विल बी नॉट विल एबल टू कंप्लीट द पेपर, 2, 3, 4 क्वेश्चंस विल बी लेफ्ट एंड वहां पे आपका सिलेक्शन रुक जाएगा। सो आंसर राइटिंग इज वेरी क्रूशियल। आप जैसे जैसे सिलेबस कवर करते जाओ वैसे वैसे आप आंसर राइटिंग करते जाओ, ठीक है। सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। और जो भी मेंस लिख रहे हैं या जिन्होंने भी मेंस लिखा है उनको अच्छे से पता है, और जब भी लोग मेंस लिख के आते हैं ना, मेंस खत्म होता है उसी टाइम सोचते हैं कि नेक्स्ट वर्ड से एवरीडे आंसर राइटिंग करेंगे, लेकिन ये लोग भूल जाते हैं, ठीक है, ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स, राइट। So please do not forget it. Answer writing is very, very important. Practice, practice, practice makes a man perfect. So that should be there. Then we will be discussing one question here. Constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence is a prerequisite of democracy. So how many parts will be there? There will be at least 2 parts in the main body. First part will be why need of judicial independence, and second part will be what are the constitutional provision which is ensuring judicial independence. So these two part will be there, right? In any answer which you will be writing, you will write introduction, main body and conclusion. Please do not forget to write introduction or conclusion. This is the crucial and separate part of the answer. Do not just think that main body हमने लिख दिया, सारे क्वेश्चन के एस्पेक्ट पूरे हो गए तो इंट्रोडक्शन कंक्लूजन की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. That is not there. This should be the structuring of your answer. Then what can you write in the introduction? So in the introduction you can write that India is a federal country, right? And in this, because of the federal nature, there is independent judiciary, and independent judiciary means independence from what? From which? Independent judiciary is independent from the executive as well as the legislature. And same thing has been told in the directive principle of state policy, that under Article 50 of the Constitution of India, the states are directed to separate judiciary from the executives in the public services of the state, right? And this you can be writing in the introduction part. This independence is prerequisite for the better democracy, because if there will be judicial independence, then better democracy, better people's sovereignty or popular sovereignty can be ensured, right? Then come to the main body. In main body you can write that first part, why judicial independence is prerequisite. सबसे पहले judicial independence क्यों चाहिए? To ensure the democracy, right? And what can be the points in this? Like the why judicial independence is there? To protect the fundamental rights. A state is there, and to have the constitutionalism. Constitutionalism restrict or limit the power of state, right? So that it does not take away the fundamental rights, the natural rights, the human rights which is given to the every citizen of the country, or some of the fundamental rights is also given to the non-citizen also. So protect the fundamental rights, judicial independence is required. Then to ensure the law and order, right? To ensure the rule of law. Okay. This is also, for this also judicial independence is required. Means there should not be any arbitrary authority who should be taking the decision instead of the concerned authority, right? Rule of law should be followed. Okay. So that should be there. Then impartial judication. If judiciary will be dedicated in nature, okay, then what will happen? It will always be in favor of the government. Okay. And most of the times government is the litigation. Government is litigating, right? Therefore, to have a better decision, to have a better judgment, impartial adjudication is required. Means there should be separation of power between legislature and judiciary, and executives and judiciary. The judiciary should function in impartial manner without any biasness, right? Then we have, it prevents the authoritarianism. In our democracy, if the parliament or if any government has the majority of 2/3 majority, right, both in the Lok Sabha as well as in the Rajya Sabha, then it can amend the constitution, isn't it? So the impartial judiciary will ensure that even if there is too much majority in the parliament, then also no government can become authoritarian in nature. Okay. People's popular sovereignty should also always be there. Constitution should always be supreme. The constitutional supremacy should be ensured, and every authority should work according to the Constitution of India. So that will be the role of judicial independence. Then the ensure basic structure is not violated. The basic structure has been brought into the Keswanand Bharati case, right, and it has been said that everything cannot be amended in the Constitution of India, right. So whenever the judicial independence will be there, then only the basic structure doctrine will be better implemented. ठीक है. Then the people will have confidence in the legal system. This is utmost important. आज तक आज के डेट में भी 4 करोड़ केसेस पेंडिंग हैं जुडिशियरी के अंदर. मोर देन 60 लाख केसेस आर पेंडिंग इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. लेकिन अभी भी दो आदमी के बीच में झगड़ा होता है ना, तो क्या बोलते हैं, मैं तुम्हें कोर्ट में ले जाऊंगा और तुम्हें सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक घसीटूंगा, ऐसे मैं नहीं छोड़ने वाला हूँ. वाई? बिकॉज जुडिशियरी पे भरोसा है दैट कहीं भी गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, जुडिशियरी के अंदर गड़बड़ नहीं होगा. वाई? because there is separation of power, because there is judicial independence, right. So to have this judicial independence, the constitution itself has provided several articles, ठीक है, that you need to write in the second part of the constitution, second part of the question. Article 13 का 2, Article 13 का 2, it ensures there is judicial review, because there cannot be any law which can be made by state, either parliament or the state legislature, which is unconstitutional in nature. And who will see this, whether the law is constitutional or not? Obviously judiciary will see this. And this judiciary, how can judiciary ensure that the law is constitutional or not? Right, through judicial independence, right. So Article 13 ka 2, it directly provides judicial review, and through that judicial independence. Then Article 13 ka 2, that is constitutional remedy, and the Supreme Court itself guarantees the fundamental rights to the citizen of the country, right. So through this also the Supreme Court can issue several kinds of the writs, right, and it can protect. Why? Because there is judicial independence, ठीक है. तो यहाँ से भी judicial independence थोड़ा बहुत provide किया जा रहा है. Then the Article 121 of the Constitution of India, it specifically mentions that there cannot be any kind of discussion which will take place in the parliament with respect to the conduct of the judges. What kind of judgment has been there, how judges is giving the decisions, all these things will not be discussed unless about any judges, whether Supreme Court of India or the High Court of India, unless and until there is substantive motion is going on to remove that particular judges, right. So this shows the separation of power, and this shows the judicial independence, right. Then the Article 124 of the Constitution, it talks about the appointment of Supreme Court judges, right. There should be Chief Justice of India and there should be other judges in the Supreme Court. So how this appointment is ensuring the judicial independence? Because the appointment is happening through collegium system, and who is there in the collegium system? Only the judges of the Supreme Court are there in the collegium system. So only they will be recommending the names that who will be part of the judiciary further, right. So this shows that there is some kind of the judicial independence. NJAC लाके, नेशनल जुडिशियल अपॉइंटमेंट कमीशन लाके इसको डाइल्यूट करने का कोशिश किया गया था, बट टू इंश्योर द जुडिशियल इंडिपेंडेंस द NJAC bill has been, NJAC act has been nullified or has been made unconstitutional in nature. So that is there. Then Article 124 of the Constitution, it talks about the removal of the Supreme Court judges, ठीक है. And removal of the Supreme Court judges, how it ensures the judicial independence? Because removing a Supreme Court judges is not easy. It needs a special majority in which two-third members should be present and meeting, and there should be at least half of the absolute majority. So that to gain that majority in the Lok Sabha as well as in the Raj Sabha is very tough. Therefore some kind of judicial independence is provided from here also. Similarly, in the Article 218, there is removal of the High Court judges, appointment and removal of the High Court judges. Just like the Supreme Court, it is also there for the High Court. Then Article 112(3), it talks about charged on Consolidated Fund of India, right? And what is charged on Consolidated Fund of India? Such expenditures which will be happening, which cannot be voted upon. It can only be discussed in the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha, but it cannot be voted upon. And in this charge on expenditure of Consolidated Fund of India, this salary allowance and the pension payable to or in respect of the judges of the Supreme Court is also there. Means the salary allowance and the pension of the Supreme Court judges cannot be reduced by the Parliament. Why? Because this is charged on Consolidated Fund of India. Similarly, the pensions payable to or in respect to the judges of the High Court, this is charged on this Consolidated Fund of India, right? So this ensures judicial independence also. Plus Article 50, we have already talked about it. This is directive principle of state policy. This is not justiciable in nature, but for writing that this is also a part of Constitution itself. So there is separation of judiciary from the executives. So these are the articles which you can write that this has been provided in the Constitution of India, from which the independence of judiciary is ensured, right? So that is there. How can you conclude? You can conclude in lines that Constitution of India guarantees judicial independence, though various judgments, through various judgments like the Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narnia case, Minerva Bill case, judicial review has been considered the essential integral part of the Constitution of India. This ensures India to be fully democratic country and ensures popular sovereignty, because only when judicial independence will be there, then only the fundamental rights can be ensured. ठीक है, तो इस तरह से आपको आंसर लिखना है. इतने सारे कंटेंट्स और सारे कंटेंट्स जो है 7 मिनट के अंदर आपको अंदर नहीं याद आएगा, बट इसका अगर 50-60%, 70% भी अगर आप आंसर में लिख रहे हो तो दैट इज मोर देन सफिशिएंट टू राइट वेरी वेरी गुड आंसर. ठीक है, तो वी विल कंटिन्यू द डिस्कशन. वी विल बी डूइंग द डिस्कशन ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी टॉपिक, ईच एंड एवरी क्वेश्चंस व्हिच हैज बीन आस्क्ड बाय द यूपीएससी. ठीक है, इन फर्दर क्लासेस. 2 प्रोग्राम है, एक रिप्ले प्रोग्राम है जो विच करेंटली इज गोइंग ऑन, इन विच द स्टूडेंट इज फेसिंग द सेम हीट which the mains giving student is having. It's under Kalam, in the Kalam IAS Academy only. Same mains is being organized. ठीक है, इसका फेस टू फेस इवैल्यूएशन भी होगा, सारे फीडबैक्स भी मिलेंगे, सब कुछ होगा, प्रॉपर डिस्कशन भी मिलेगा, सब कुछ मिलेगा. Then the next program coming, that is boot camp for both for the prelims as well as the mains. So if you are interested in any of this, please contact Kalam IAS Academy. This is all for the trend analysis part. We will be continuing and we will be doing discussion on each and every question in very much details. So please stay tuned and stay with us at the Kalam IAS Academy. Thank you very much.